Alright guys, welcome back to VALORANT News. The World Championship is just a couple of days away, but big drama going down last night with TenZ giving his perspective yet again on the state of the PCs that Riot provide the players at the World Championship and other events. This is a talking point every single year. It's a talking point for a number of pro players, and still TenZ is frustrated they have not seriously addressed this issue, coming out with a clip on stream, then clarifying it later that he's not going to bootleg Riot, and he's going to straight up say what he believes needs to be said in order to improve the state of this esports. Very much interested your thoughts in the comments below. Hit the like button if you enjoy. Subscribe if you're new. As always, I would greatly appreciate it. First of all, here's Gen.G, of course. Congratulations to him on his birthday. Not really congratulations. Happy birthday, right? But, you know, congratulations making it to 21, I suppose. And, of course, well, he's there for Paper X playing, right? I think that maybe part of him didn't believe he was even going to be playing this season after everything that we expected with the mandatory service and all this stuff. But no, Gen can play for Paper X. He's there at the World Championship. How are they going to get on? That is another question. Thought a cool couple of clips as well going around from Zelsis in addition, and also Zelsis was, well, standing behind the boys yesterday as TenZ was giving his perspective on this PC stuff that we'll get into. This, though, is interesting for sure. Team Liquid 2025 Valorant roster. Now, I'm not exactly sure how accurate Ryan should be as a source here, so take this with a grain of salt. However, there are some reasons to believe this could be a plausible lineup, right? Keeping a couple of guys from the initial Liquid team that they've just had and bringing on board a couple of players from the Na'Vi lineup, right? So the theoretical roster could be Angel as the IGL, Artist joins as well with Angel, and it's pretty clear that Na'Vi are blowing it up, right? The way their season ended was bad. They have to basically just call it a day with their roster. But I actually kind of like this if this is what Liquid are doing. Angel, Artist, Nat, of course, to stay, Mystic, and then Yampy. Now, I know there's always questions on him, just because in the same way with kind of a player like Asuna, for example, a player that has been considered to be a top prospect, a player with lots of talent, a player that can really deliver good performances, it hasn't really worked, has it? Like with Asuna, it's the same thing. The player that in many respects has been the staple of that Thieves lineup over the last couple of seasons. But, and okay, they've done well, but they haven't maybe done well enough. So the theory goes that maybe it's those type of players that you might think about moving on from rather than maintaining on the roster. But no, it seems like he's going to stay. Obviously, Asuna, it seems potentially is going to stay on 100T as well, although frankly, we have no idea what they are thinking going into the off-season. So that's kind of a question mark, because for me, Yampy hasn't ever really found a clear identity in terms of how he wants to play the game, and maybe Angel can help him find that, right, if this is actually potentially true. There was this spotted as well here, so Liquid put this out, and we can see in the background, first of all, there's like a Sliggy kind of hint here that maybe he might be returning to Liquid. I think he may just decide to stay as a co-streamer, like as a content creator, right, because I think he's enjoying that. But anyway, we've got all the players in the background. We do have, however, if you zoom in, the following, which, well, this is on the wall. This quite clearly says, Scream is back. Here's Scream. And, well, here's the Valorant time. So, you know, here, shout out the boys. But anyway, we'll continue providing the best service for the community, they say, and Scream is back. Now, would they, let's be real, if Scream was actually coming back, are they going to put this on the wall? Like, probably not. So, probably Scream ain't coming back, but who knows? Take it with a grain of salt. Lots of the guys, though, they're out there in APAC, ready to go. Miniboo even says from Heretics, APAC's rank and ascendant is so hard, a lot of crazy players who give you no chance. I'm not kidding. So, either there are players who are legitimately good, or there are some cheaters, because there are some cheaters out there. Like, there's no doubt about that. But let's talk about this TenZ stuff, because here are the boys. We've got Zelsis, obviously Zekers here. You know, we've got, you know, Drew Spark in the background, and then TenZ here in the foreground yapping about, well, all sorts of different things. The main thing, though, that he was talking about yesterday was on the PC problems again that they are running into at this event. Now, this is not a new topic for TenZ or for the other players, but it's a topic that, given how much has been discussed, you might think the teams, or let's say Riot, might have actually resolved the situation. That is not the case, and has not been the case, and does not seem to continue to be the case at this year's World Championship, let's not forget, because, well, Valorant is a game that can give you decent frames per second on a decent PC, and that's basically what the pros are forced to use. You know, there's no way to do like a true stretched in the game and therefore reduce or increase the frame rate by reducing the amount of pixels that need to be rendered, which is what the Counter-Strike players do, and TenZ discusses as well exactly why he feels like Riot have decided to adopt this angle. But I just wanted to share what TenZ had to say on this, because I thought it was rather fascinating on the problem that continues again.
I actually think from, like, I never understood, from Riot's perspective, Why do they invest in much lower end PCs compared to like, like I was a CS pro for example in the past, but like our PCs in CS would always be like this. We have the best Intel CPU, best AMD CPU, like whatever it is, like very high end GPU and the highest refresh rate monitor. But I feel like here we always use like 2 generations behind monitors that are like off brand. It's very, very interesting. Okay, it does cost a lot, but if I could fund that from my bank account right now, sure as hell that Riot could do it. Like, legit. Like, it's kind of ridiculous. How many years has it been? How many events has it been? And it's the same complaints. If anything, that's a business write-off for them. I mean, I also think, I'm almost certain that the same PCs that we use for Valorant is the same PCs that they use for League of Legends, and it's probably just a thing of like, oh, I mean, League can run on a potato, so I think they're just trying to min-max the cost. Like in Madrid, yes, I am. I don't have my laptop with me though. The delay is crazy behind you. Yeah, it's a 20-second delay. Do you think Riot will make a true stretch as a normal setting in a game? I think they should, honestly. Okay. Do you know what I think it is? I think the only reason that they don't want to have it on as a normal setting is because I think a lot of pro players would switch, a lot of pro players stream, and therefore the game would look like shit, and they want it to not look like shit. You're good now? They want like the viewer experience not to look bad, and therefore when you watch like a Valorant pro streaming, that they're not playing 4x3, they're playing 1920, which looks way better. The game looks better. It looks more professional, maybe more up to date. But I mean, pro players don't really give a fuck about graphics. We just care about whatever like gives the most performance. Everyone, why you're not on stretch? I said I'm playing. Okay, I'm playing the matches on stretch. Okay, by the way, there new tech unlocked for getting stretch, where you can actually do stretch on full screen. I won't be able to show it right now, but I can show it probably when I get back home. But it is new tech for you to get full screen stretch without having to use WinXP, and that's what I've been practicing with lately. It's a game changer for me. I'm on the new method of stretch, which basically you go into your device manager, you turn off generic PMP monitor, and then it basically turns your resolution to custom. You can't change your resolution anymore. And then it will just go based off your Windows resolution, and you basically choose whatever res you want, divide it by 1.45, and you'll get a new res. Like right now, I'm rocking 1280 by 880, so it's not 960, but it's still stretched.
Get out of my way!
Oh, there you go. Okay, so now it's stretched like that, and then if I do game catcher and I transform it to stretch the screen. Okay, wait, is that good now? Yeah, so this is like actual like full screen. Okay, my FPS should be better now. I mean, yeah, it's one of the reasons why I play 4x3 in this game is because I want as much FPS as possible.
So TenZ then clarified his perspective here in the comment section of that clip that was uploaded, and I'll leave everything linked down below. People will say I'm complaining to make an excuse. I complain because I have big enough of a platform to voice my opinion as a competitor, not just for me, but for all the players competing at these events. So just a comment really quick, like, there's no way this is an excuse, right? Because, like, the event's not even happened yet. Everyone's dealing with the same stuff. The players just want the best equipment, because if your game is going to skip or lag, or you're not playing on the best frames per second because your PC isn't quite good enough to actually handle that, that should not be happening at any Valorant event, frankly, especially not the biggest Valorant event of the entire year. This is the full comment as well, with a couple of other ones as well, just for good measure here. But as he says, I truly think top-of-the-line players should be using top-of-the-line gear, and that is just a fact. Riot makes so much money from this game, and it feels like they put the bare minimum back towards the esports scene. I'll say things how they are, and not a bootlicker towards Riot. So big words, I thought, really there from TenZ in the comments, clarifying his perspective. But is he wrong? I don't think he is at all. I mean, we've talked about this for a long time at this point, that the quality of the PCs is simply not good enough, right? They don't have the best top-of-the-line stuff. They have old PCs from a few years ago with relatively meager specifications. Now, could you splash out $4,000 on all the PCs for the players per one? Well, I mean, Riot could do that with a snap of the fingers, right? I mean, it would not be difficult at all to have some mega PCs brought up for the players. Now, I guess they think, who cares? Why would we spend this extra, tens of thousands of dollars when it's not going to affect anything because the people are still going to watch the same way? But I don't really think that's the correct mindset, right? And TenZ certainly agrees. The players want the best stuff. You want the best competitive environment. And at some point, you've got to upgrade this stuff, right? Because the game it doesn't handle the best on those PCs. And it's just kind of ridiculous that a lot of you guys watching these videos right now will be playing Valorant on a PC that might not even be fully boosted up, but is a PC that is stronger than what the pros are playing on at the World Championship, right, in a couple of days' time. So, yeah, and as TenZ says, seems to be the same PCs they use for League, which, of course, is not as capital intensive, and therefore you kind of get away with it, but, or at least Riot think you do. So it's interesting, isn't it, that, as TenZ says, like, Riot makes so much money from this, and they also make so much money from the esports product in general, right? Like, let's not forget how much cash the Champions bundles and just the other bundles generate for Riot. And that is all, revenue from the esports side, but yet a lot of that is not seemingly put back in to the actual gameplay itself, which is of course what TenZ and basically every other competitor would like to see. The reason why TenZ is saying it is because he has the biggest platform. If TenZ says this over, lots of players could say it, but if TenZ says it, it's going to gather more weight, it's going to gather more attention, and it's possibly going to force Riot into, I wouldn't even say they will respond necessarily, but they may be forced into action at some point as a result of all this stuff. But very much intrigued to your thoughts in the comments below. This kind of interesting. TenZ not on this list actually, but probably isn't too far away. This is first blood success rate heading into the World Championship. Aspas actually leads the line here by quite some way. Of 160 attempts, Aspas gets first blood 105 of those times, which is pretty absurd. TenZ, of course, would maybe have been on here a couple of years ago, but Zekken is leading the line for Sentinels, which makes sense, of course, on the Rays as their effectively entry guy right now, and we see some other familiar names right about here. But very much intrigued to your thoughts on all this stuff in the comment section below. Hit the like button if you enjoyed, subscribe if you're new, take care, and I'll see you next time.